Alright, first and foremost, all honors and praises go to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Back at you with another hit. I'm striking while the iron is hot. Right? I am striking while the iron is hot. This lesson is going to be called For We Wrestle Not Against Flesh and Blood. This is a spiritual battle. Right? This is a spiritual battle. Right? So Lord willing, this is going to be edifying quickly. Going to edify the elect. Let's go to Ephesians 6 and 10. Right? Come on now. It says, finally, my brethren. This is Paul speaking. Right? Ephesians was written by Paul. Acts was written by Paul. Even certain parts of Timothy was written by Paul, which were letters to Timothy. Alright? Galatians was written by Paul as well. Right? Finally, Paul had a lot of experience. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord Yahweh Shai, in the power of his might. So we have to be strong in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? And in the power of his might. Right? Because we can't, look, let's be real. Esau, right? And who's Esau? Esau is the so-called white people today. They call themselves Europeans and so forth. They're known as Esau. The elites of Esau, they have military might. They're ruling this current world, this realm of darkness. So can we take down Esau? I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Indianos. Can we take down Esau? The answer is, what, physically? No. Why? Because his blessing was the sword. Right? So that would be completely mad to think you could take him down by his own blessing. He was blessed by the sword. So how can we take down this man? The only way to take him down is how? Through the words. And that's how we're going to take him down. Through this word. This word is taking him down. Spiritually. Okay. Excuse me just a minute. Excuse me. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Because the Lord, Yahweh, he's all powerful. He controls everything. He controls people. Right? Their minds, how they think. Right? What they do. Why they do what they do. And it says, verse 11, put on the whole armor of the Most High. The whole armor. Right? That you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. What's the wiles? His schemes, his tricks. Right? So what's the wiles? The wiles is his schemes, his plots, his tricks, his shenanigans. Right? That's the wiles. So every single day, the devil operates on wiles. Right? A lot of the times it's not going to be up front. The devil doesn't really, sometimes that happens, but the devil doesn't really come up to you and say, oh, hello, I'm the devil. No, it's, what's the word? Covert. Right? It's covert. It's not right in your face. It's covert. Sometimes it's overt. Sometimes. Okay? And that's why you got to be what? Spiritually girded. That you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So the wiles of the devil, anything, right? It's tricks, right? It's the things that could pop out of nowhere. The things that can happen during the day, right? You just had a picture on the wall. And all of a sudden that picture on the wall just drops off. That was the wile of the devil. You were just studying. Everything was just peaceful. All of a sudden, there's a lot of noise. That's the wiles of the devil. You have to be able to see beyond the physical. You have to be able to see beyond that. Right? Because people are just vessels that are just being used. That's all they are. People are just vessels that are just being used. And that's how you got to see it. If you don't see it that way, you're going to find it very, very hard. Because then you're just going to be looking at the people and say, well, why are they doing that? No, it's because it's a spiritual, war. And you have people, their vessels are being manipulated by what? The devil to do these things. And no, they're not fallen angels. Okay. They're not fallen angels. That's some rubbish in Christianity. They're just being manipulated by the devil. Okay? Got to understand this war. And once you understand that, guess what? It makes everything more easier. Right? Put on the whole armor we went into that verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So this ain't a tug of war against flesh and blood. You having a wrestling match, no? No, okay. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Principalities are the highest level of spirits that we're against. Principalities, chief spirits. So your war, it's not really against the people, the flesh. Your war is against what? The spirits. Okay? And against powers, the powers that be. You know the powers that rule, right? The elite banking families. What's this? 30. That's who we're against. This is more heavy than you think. And against the rulers of darkness. So yeah, we're against rulers of darkness, and the elites. They coincide with darkness. That's how they got their wealth, right? Basically, they're on Satan's side, right? The rulers of darkness. It says there's a reason why it says rulers of darkness. Why? Because they rule over what? These the principalities rule over them. They don't really rule. It says rulers of darkness, but the principalities, because who's more powerful? Is it Satan or is it the elites? No, they go to Satan for answers, right? And against spiritual wickedness in higher place. This is what we're against. And if you're not mentally strong, if you don't have faith, then it's gonna be very, very, very hard for you to overcome. So that's what we're against. Spiritual wickedness in higher places. And part of that spiritual wickedness is also what? These different religions. That's spiritual wickedness. Because when you're teaching this word, you're going against every single form of idolatry. And what's every form of idolatry? Witchcraft. Whether it be Buddhism, whether it be Hinduism, whether it be Sikhism, whether it be Muslim, that's also spiritual wickedness in high places. So you're casting down everything, right? Everything. Whether it be modern day Christianity, okay? And of this one, against spiritual wickedness in higher places. So that's what we're against. Even spiritual wickedness in higher places. Okay? Wherefore and the spiritual wickedness says in higher places. So that's in the spiritual realm. It starts first in the spiritual realm. It starts first in the heavens. And if you were able to see what was actually going on, you might pass out. So that would mean, hold on, you got angels on the right hand side and you got angels on the left hand side. And the angels on the left hand side, they're trying to get us to go off. They're trying to accuse us by the Heavenly Father. And you have angels on the right hand side that are guiding us, that are giving us inspiration, that are comforting us, that are looking at all these different things, that are giving us ideas, that are keeping us strong. Right? These things are happening. And that's why certain places on earth, there's a dark spirit. Certain places you go, right, there's more demonic activity, right, than other places. Why? Because it's a spiritual war, right, that you can't see. Okay. Verse 13, therefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High. Sometimes I read this every single day. Sometimes you have to read this every single day because it's a war. And what's the armor? The armor is these words. See, majority of people out here, they don't have the armor. Right? That's why they're easily manipulated, because they don't have the armor. They don't have that defense. Right? Why do you put on armor? Armor is a defense. Right? From them barricades of what? Them fiery darts that come at you. That's why you have armor. Right? To protect you. To protect your mid-region. Okay? In an evil day. Right? And having done all to stand. So we want to make sure we done all to stand in the evil day. That's why we got to put on this armor. You're right there. All right. You know you're an Israelite, right? Yeah. Okay. You read the Bible?
Yeah, every day.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. All right. Yeah. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. All right. All right. And it says, stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth. So we got to have our loins girt, our minds girt with truth. Completely covered, because the devil's always trying to enter in. right? The devil's always trying to enter into our minds. Constantly, and it's not easy. But that's why this lesson's being done. I hope you're being inspired. I hope you're being helped. Whoever I can help with this, that's beautiful. That's what I'm here to do. Because I'm battling as well. Right? And when you first wake up to this truth, this may be your first time hearing this. You're gonna get them jabs, you're gonna be getting jabs, you're gonna be getting them left hooks, you're gonna be uppercut. Because it's your first time. You don't know you don't really understand what's really happening. Right? So you're getting them uppercuts, you're getting them jabs, you're getting them hooks. But then you adapt. You have to adapt. Right? But if your Habashah is with you, you're gonna be alright. Right? You are going to be alright. Okay? Come on now. Stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth. The truth is a protection in a world full of lies. Let me say that again. The truth is a protection in a world full of lies. Because this kingdom is built up of lies, falsehoods. Right? So what do we need? This word. Right? The word is a protection. The word is a hedge. Without the word, you don't have that hedge. Alright? Come on now. And it says, Baba Kashar, stand therefore having your loins girt about with truth and having on the breastplate of righteousness and your feet shod with the preparation. Do you know what preparation means? To plan. Right? Even in war, you plan, right? You plan in war, you strategize. Right? If any of you know about war, what do you do in war? You strategize. There's different books on wars. The Art of what? Sun Tzu. Right? There's different methods. Because guess what? Even the devil, because he's not omnipresent, he can't be everywhere. Right? Well, now, can Satan be everywhere? Satan can be everywhere. Right? He's the spiritual demon Satan. But guess what he does? He uses people. So what does the devil do? The devil also studies you. Right? The devil also studies you. But how does he study you? He needs to study you by what? Artificial technology. Remember, he's a counterfeit. Right? So if the devil's studying you, what would you want to do? You want to study your enemy. Nobody goes to war without studying the enemy. So what do? We study the enemy. How do we study the enemy? Through these scriptures. Right? So we don't want to be too predictable. You want to be unpredictable. Predictable but unpredictable. Because guess what? I could be in the same place, but you don't know what I'm going to speak about. Because the spirit is like the wind. Okay? Ephesians 6, Baba Kashar. And 14, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. This is our breastplate. Verse 15, your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So our feet have to be shod, prepared, covered. Okay? With the gospel of peace. And the key thing, the gospel, because what does the gospel teach? The gospel teaches us, it's the good news. So yeah, we teach you about America and the destruction that's going to come, but we also teach you the good news. Okay? We teach you all these things. Okay? Verse 15, verse 16, above all, taking the shield of faith. That's the main shield. That is the main shield. This shield of faith. Without the shield, what happens in war if you don't have the shield on? You're liable to get pierced through. Right? And you know what? It's interesting. Study war. Because we don't just read these scriptures for no reason. You're reading the scriptures, and if you are watching a movie, you're supposed to watch that movie and filter it through the scriptures. So there's nothing wrong with watching movies. You filter that movie through the scriptures. Right? That's what you do. Okay? And in war, what do? You strategize. So in this war, we strategize. And when you go into that word while, it also goes into what? Methodeia. Right? When you go into that word, it's methodeia. So yes, even the devil, he has methods on the way he does things. Methodeia. Alright? Above all, take the shield of faith, wherever you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. So through faith, you're able to quench all them fiery darts. right? So this is how we quench and we put out them darts. It doesn't say that, it says quench. So them darts are still going to hit you, right? So guess what? We're being shot at spiritually with them darts. Spiritually, we're being shot at every single day. But the only way you can quench them darts is through what? The word, which is this word, the shield of faith. Because without this shield of faith, you're not going to be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked. Right? So it's being quenched. But if you don't have that shield, then you're not quenching them darts. And you're liable to get pierced through spiritually. Okay? Verse 17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit. Right? The sword of the Spirit is the word. Right? So this is the sword of the Spirit, which is the word. So in war, what do you do in war when you have a sword? You don't just hold your sword back. In Jeremiah it says, cursed be that keepeth his sword back from blood. Right? A paraphrase. Now I don't know it from top of the dome, but cursed be he that keepeth his sword back from blood, and cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. So when you go to war, you have a sword. You don't go to war and don't use that sword, and that sword is a line of what? Defense and offense. Same with a shield. It's the same thing. Okay? And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. Now let's go to Hebrews. And you may say, hold on a minute, you've done a lesson like this before. It's supposed to be repetitive. Right? Because that way, what's the word? Practice makes perfect. So that's good. Right? The more you go over it, the more you're able to retain these words. Go to Hebrews 4 and 12. For the word of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is quick. It's straight to the point. Right? And powerful. So this word is quick and it's powerful. Okay? There's a lot of power in these words. That's why with much power comes much responsibility. That's why you also got to be careful on how we're dealing with these words. Because now you have, this power. Yeah, you do have power. You got to be careful on how you're using this word. Right? And sharpen any two-edged sword. So a lot of people get upset. It's not that you wake up and say, well, who am I going to upset today? No, we don't go out of our way to do that. Okay. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful. So this word, it is very, 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 very powerful. You might not think it is. You may think, well, no, I'm just teaching the word. No, it's powerful. Because if it wasn't powerful, guess what? You wouldn't have the authorities trying to target you, blacklisting you, right? If this word wasn't powerful. So it is powerful, right? And sharpen any two-edged swords. So this word is sharp, right? Why? Because it cuts in any two-edged sword, right? It's sharper than any Nordic sword, any samurai sword. And it says, piercing even the dividing of soul and spirit, and the joints of the mountain is the discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So this really goes into people's intent, their minds, their inner being, right? We deal with psychology. Well, the highest forms of level of psychology is in the scriptures. Read Proverbs, read Ecclesiasticus. That's the highest forms of psychology. It goes into the reasoning of men, right? Psychology goes into what? Psyche, right? Short for psyche, your mind, and the reasoning of men and women. Why do men and women do that? The reasoning. Why do you do that? Right? Okay, Hebrews 4 and 12. And it says, piercing and even the dividing asunder of soul and spirit. So this is what this word does as well. It has the ability to pierce the soul and the spirit. Right? It has the ability to do that. Right? And have people feeling a particular way. Okay? And and of the joints. This makes people shiver. Right? It makes people shiver as well. Right? And the joints and the marrow. Some people, bro, you don't know what effect you're having upon particular people. Right? some people, one person may have watched a video with evil intent, and now because he watched it, that was the worst time in his life. He wish he never came across that video now. He or she wish they never came across that video because it changed their whole life. Yeah, this one, it changes people's lives. Some for the good, some for the better. Okay. Is there anything else? Baba Kasha. And is a discerner of the thought, discern, right? So we're also able to discern particular matters. And that is spiritual power. Discernment is spiritual power. Discernment is being able to read someone's mind, know what they're thinking. I'm not making this up. To know what someone is thinking, right? To know, right, it's deep. We have spiritual power. Discernment is spiritual power, and it's the highest level of spiritual power as well. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go this way, because that's going to happen. This person, I bet you, they're going to say this, they're going to do that, and it happens right before your eyes. That's discernment. I was just thinking about this, and that topic just popped up. That's discernment. Okay? Is there anything else? Verse 17, in which the word of the Most High, praying always with all prayer. And prayer is very important as well. Make sure you pray. And if you feel you're not praying enough, pray more. And yes, remember, this is spiritual war, so there's going to be times you pray and the devil's going to try to get into your head and say, shut up, shut up, shut up. He's not listening to you. Yeah, that's going to happen. And you do know, yeah, the devil does infiltrate your mind. What does he work on? He works on your mind, right? And that's why you're going to be mentally strong. Yes, you're going to pray. Sometimes it's going to feel like, oh, nah, he's not really hearing. No, he is hearing you. It's the devil that wants you to believe that the Heavenly Father ain't hearing you, right? The devil's going to tell you everything. This is what you're going to understand. This is what you're going to understand. The devil's going to tell you everything that's negative about you. Do you really think the devil's going to he's not going to tell you everything that's positive, that's good. He's going to tell you the things that are not good, right? You're praying, shut up, shut up. He ain't hearing you. You're worthless. You're nobody. You're useless. You're this. You done that. Remember when you done that? Remember when you ate some pork? Right? Remember when you looked at that woman that was that had a husband? Remember that sin you committed 2 years ago? Remember that sin you committed a week ago? He ain't gonna forgive you. Be quiet. Give your soul to. That's what he's gonna tell you. That's why you gotta understand this is a spiritual battle. Once you understand that, it makes it slightly more easier. Okay? And that's his job. Right? That's his job, to cast you down. To have you not believe and you're not a man of the Lord. And you have to have some type of level of confidence and believe that you're of the elect. Because if you don't believe that, well, how are you going to make it? Right? You have to believe in that. Okay? Excuse me. On to the next. With supplication in the spirit. So you pray continually. Without ceasing. Okay? I'm watching there until with all perseverance supplication for all the saints. So now we went to that. Few more scriptures and we're shut off. Go to Psalms, I believe it's 10. This is Psalms 10. And it's lucky Psalms 11. In the Lord shall I put my trust. How say ye to them, my soul flee as a bird to the mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow. We just went to Ephesians 7 that talked about the fiery darts. So that bow is being bent. They make ready their arrow upon a string that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. They're making ready, right? So we have in the spiritual realm, the spiritual demon Satan, the devil, is shooting at us, right? Lining up that target. So even yes, in the spiritual realm, you're a target. And you guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You know you're really, really, really special. You know you have to be special. If you're fighting for the kingdom of heaven and the spirit, hold on, and the kingdom of darkness wants you, you must be a special spirit. Let me say that again. If you're on the side of what the kingdom of heaven, Yahushua, and the kingdom of darkness is fighting for you, you must be really special. All right? And make ready their arrow upon the string that they may shoot privily at the upright in heart. So this is what's happening. All right? This is what's happening. All right? On every level. And that's why we got to stay girded with this word. So with this, I don't want to go on too long. I think that's pretty much it. Right? We're going to shut off. And Lord willing, this was edifying. And until the next time, Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.